Hey guys, and welcome to the third episode of Ask Ivy. It's Wednesday, and I'm here to answer a couple more questions from my very long list of questions, and I'm really excited to do so. So thanks again for submitting the questions and giving me the opportunity to help out where I can. So the first question comes from Kimberly Schultz. Thank you, Kimberly. And it is, how do you start a painting? Oftentimes I will be inspired by so many things and so many color choices that it is almost disabling. How do you find your focus? Yeah, I can totally relate to this. Sometimes for me, Pinterest is a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Like it's so full of beautiful things, but it also can just completely take over your day. Sometimes I joke around with every single time I go to Pinterest, the minute I get there, I don't even remember why I came because I'm just overwhelmed by all the beautiful visuals that are coming up. And it can be overwhelming for sure. So what I try to do when I'm not procrastinating and using Pinterest as a way of avoiding painting, when I really want to get down to business, is I will pick 3 images typically that are kind of resonating with me in that moment. I'll print them out and I'll stick them up around where I'm going to be painting, right around my canvas usually. If I'm going to approach the painting in an intuitive way, I'll just start sketching with my paintbrush, and then I usually don't work with color initially. I will often start with black and white or a very kind of monochromatic sort of situation where I'm blocking in value, and that helps me kind of understand the design of the painting. For me, with color can be totally overwhelming, just like Pinterest images, and it's just such an endless array of colors that we can choose from. So what I like to do is I will oftentimes choose my color palette before I approach the canvas. I have a little color book that I use by Design Seeds that I got several years ago, and the book is no longer in print, but they have a fantastic website, and also looking on Pinterest you can find lots of different color palettes. And so once you have your color palette selected, you know that these colors work well together, and so it kind of takes away some of the decision making. And then you get to work within that color family, obviously in the different values of that color family to create your composition. So that is what I would recommend. I would recommend narrowing down your inspiration, printing out a few things that are resonating with you right then, and putting those up, turning your computer off, turn your phone off, because I tell you what, any chance that I can get to step away, like when I'm not really into the painting yet, there's a lot of apprehension and a lot of fear. And so if there's a little distraction, I jump on it. If my Facebook thing goes off, I'm like, oh, I better go check that. And my paints just sit there drying instead of being used. So the other thing that I really recommend is that you turn off your technology. If you really want to get into a painting and find your focus, and really get connected to the inspiration that you've printed out and start really getting into that flow mode, turn off your computer and your phone and anything else that dings or whistles or makes any kind of noise. Because the only thing you want is maybe some music, a candle. I always like to have a candle burning, and you just want to be really present with the inspiration that you've gathered and your color palette. Picking your color palette, I think, is a great tool. My cats always seem to know when I'm in a film, and it's like they want to be part of it. So if you see a kitty, just excuse that. So the next question is from Terry Bukowski, and she asks, what makes good composition? What should we pay attention to when composing a painting? Terry, this is like a really big question, and it's something that I want to tackle more and more with my classes and with my students, because composition is so important. And I was taught it back in art school, and to be honest, I rebelled against a lot of the formal training I got, and now I'm kind of coming back to it and realizing how important it was. Okay, so composition, obviously you guys know, is like a whole subject. It's something you can study. It's something I recommend you studying. Once you learn the principles of composition, you can then look at other artwork and see how other artists have implemented this. I did, quite a bit of talk about it in my class Shades of White, because I do believe composition is so important. But in the meantime, if you haven't taken Shades of White or you haven't studied composition, I found these awesome images online, of course. And I think there's such great examples of the rules of composition, like kind of like a 101. Simple, they're visual, it's not a lot of reading and theory. And so I'm sharing these images with you guys. I highly recommend you print them out and keep them near you when you're going to compose a painting, when you're starting to sketch or you're planning a painting. And always consider them, like refer to them and be like, where am I placing that figure in this painting? And is it right in the center? Is it too far to the side? And think about those things. And it's really interesting, the human eye knows good composition. Whether you've been trained it or not, there's a way with the way we see things and the way our brain relates to them that recognizes good design. And it's something that we all want to do in our art. So it takes a little bit of studying, and it takes a little bit of having these references near you so you can kind of check the rules against your sketch and make the adjustments where you see the need. It's one of the reasons in my classes I'm always telling everyone to step back or even take a photo of your art, because you get to see it more objectively. It's really important to step back and look at your art and say, what is bugging me? You know, what shape is my eye being drawn to first? What color is jumping out first? Where does my eye go when I like close my eyes and I open my eyes? What do I see first on my painting, and where does my eye travel? All these things are compositional elements. And when we start to really observe what we're creating, that's when we can make those powerful changes that can increase the effectiveness of our composition and the strength of it. And ideally, a good composition is what we want because it keeps the viewer looking at the piece. And that's what you want. You want people engaging in your art. So yeah, print out those images, keep them next to you. I'm going to print them out. I'm going to put them next to me because I need to be reminded too. And keep practicing and make the changes that you need to make. I think the other thing that we get stuck in is we're creating and we see something that bugs us and we keep seeing it and it keeps kind of pestering us and we're like, I don't want to paint over it. That's annoying. I can't be bothered. And then we finish and it's like, it's still bugging us. So if you see it and you get that little feeling, pay attention to it and make the change right away. Don't hesitate. If it's bugging you for a reason. So just trust that instinct in yourself to know when something isn't right and have the courage to change it and know that you're going to make it better. All right, so I hope these little tips help with composition, and just keep learning. And there's tons of stuff on the internet too about composition. It's in all the theory books, so it's something that is definitely worth studying. I'm going to answer one more question, and this comes from Nancy Lennon. She says, as a newer artist, what is the best way to start developing your own style? So this is a pretty common question, Nancy, and it's a valid one because we all want to feel like we have our own style. We want to have our own identity as artists, right? We want people to see our artwork and go, oh yeah, that's a Nancy Lennon, right? I totally get that. But here's the thing, and here's my belief on it. Style comes through experience and it comes through exploration. You can contrive a style and say, I'm only going to do paintings in black and white, or I'm only going to use teal, or I'm always going to put a bird on the head of the person in my paintings. You could do that for sure. And then people will start recognizing that as your work. But to me, and this is a personal opinion, I think it's much more powerful to evolve a style along the way. And it happens. It just happens. Like people will start noticing that you do a face a certain way and you're not even meaning to do the face a certain way. It's just that your hand, the touch of your hand on that art starts to come through. I feel like with my art, I jump all over the place, and yet people go, oh, I knew that was yours. And I'm like, really? That is so interesting, as it's something so different for me, or it's something that I didn't, expect. So, if you look back at the masters, Picasso, Picasso had so many styles, right? And your style should evolve. Your style should change. It shouldn't be predictable. In fact, you don't want your art to be predictable, in my opinion. I think it's important to not worry so much about creating a style, just create, and the style will come. The essence that you put into your artwork will start to resonate with other people, and they'll start recognizing it. Your fans will start to recognize it. And also, when you get a really good style and it's very validated and people love your style, be careful of that, because then you think, oh, I have to keep creating in this way in order to be accepted, in order to get the same kind of validation. And honestly, I think that's incredibly stifling for an artist. I think it can be very kind of dangerous in a way, not dangerous like someone's going to get hurt, but dangerous in a way that you're stopping yourself from evolving by just simply replicating the same style over and over and over and over again. And yeah, you know, it might make you money, like some people have to survive on selling their paintings, so it can be very hard for them to shift into a new style, into something different without disappointing the gallery owners or losing sales in their Etsy shop. So it's a fine line. So don't wish super hard for a style. Just stay present in your art, keep learning, keep exploring, and your style will come. And guess what? It shouldn't necessarily stay. It should keep changing with you. So that's my view on style. You know, I know there's lots of different opinions out there on it. That's just my take. So hopefully that helped you, Nancy, and thanks so much for your question. Okay, guys, so that concludes my little episode for week 3, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week, and I'll answer some more questions. Bye, everyone.